Dependable News Africa gwe mukutu gwa YouTube kwoli kati. Thank you so much for subscribing. Zecho siko wa kuchibagamba. Nze fortunate and whenever you see me omanya nze ne Uganda yafe. A point or a moment when we look at our country Uganda, we take a look inside the seemingly closed doors of the political arena of this country. But today in a special way, you know, a lot of things have been happening. A lot of things. And I know you've been questioning, Rachi fortunate China ayogedde. I'm here. So many things have been happening. And in a special way, we host someone to help us analyze this. Today we host a former TV presenter. He worked in TV for like 13 years, I guess, a radio personality and a politician. In 2011, muyino kubanga mujukira, he contested for Central Youth MP wano mu Kampala. Nekworo yali under the FDC ticket. Olunaku olwalero wetwogerera, currently he's the spokesperson of People Power. And his boss defines him as an intelligent and absolute patriot of this country. Welcome to Dependable News Africa, Joel Ssenyonyi.
Thank you, Fortunate. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Well, we are trying. Keep moving.
You're trying. So, Joel, in my head, you and I have been friends. Like, in my head, so many times. And we've had so many conversations. But I don't remember congratulating you upon landing this good post. Kongs.
We mutyo mutuzoleya. I don't know why you call it a good post. It's a huge responsibility. I like to think of it as a responsibility, you know. So as people were congratulating me, nganzinga, by the way, tukoisa nimichi Luganda, Luzungu, oba Kasavu Kanyama. Bas. So when people are congratulating me, you're seeing this as a big thing. I see it as a huge responsibility, and I'm already feeling, you know, the pressure, but I like a good challenge. So yeah, I'll keep going.
Yes. So though they are belated, but still they come from me. Now, the first time I saw you as a politician, you were under the FDC ticket. What happened? And why People Power? There is UPC, FDC, DP, so many others. Why People Power specifically?
When you saw me in 2011, how old were you, Fortunate?
My age doesn't show, and I can't say it like in public, but I was at campus. Do not calculate. No, the cheeks are big, but I'm a bit old.
2011, I stood on the FDC ticket for Youth MP Central Uganda, not Kampala, because there are 5 actually, youth MPs for each region: Northern, Western, Eastern, Central, and then 1 national female. So I stood for the one for Central region on the FDC ticket at the time. I looked around and I thought, so where can I hinge myself? It obviously wasn't going to be NRM. Ngandava mtebaina waka.
Waka wadogo.
Nyo. So I ended up with the FDC. I interacted with a couple of people there. I had friends and so on. And they said, yeah, jump on board. So I went there in. The election went as it went, you know. But now I saw money. That election happened because it's electoral colleges, so it happened in Masaka. We were at a place called Vuala Social Center. All the delegates were there, like how many? About 600 or so. Baleta sente. Muyukutia. I saw money. I said, what on earth is this? You know. So my first interaction with politics that way was a real mess. I got so disappointed. And the person who brought that money is somebody that I used to hold in very high regard. Watunulira yesterday for NRM nengo bawechitiwa because of the way they hold themselves and carry themselves, and you know, so that person was the kind I used to hold in very high regard. But that day I was extremely disappointed. My hopes were dashed in that person. You know,
is bad.
So anyhow, I saw money, and the election turned out as it did not. I thought, let me first ignore this politics thing. So I went back to my journalism, and so that's what happened.
That's what happened. Now, the next time we saw you in active politics, actually, I thought you had taken like a lifetime break from politics. Then during the demonstrations against OTT and mobile money tax, I was like, is that Joel Ssenyonyi? And I was like, yeah, he's back. So when they announced you as the People Power spokesperson, Ssenyonyi, but still, why cross from FDC?
I didn't cross from there because after that election, you know, I stayed around for a while and I said goodbye to them. I went back to the media. So by the time I joined, this has not anywhere. I talk about that protest. That protest, by the way, for me, at the time, it had nothing to do with politics. It had everything to do with economics. I'm telling you, because as far as we're concerned, this tax here was a ridiculous tax, targeting, you know, poor people especially. But also it was founded with wrong, it was in a way founded in wrong motives, because President Museveni yali agamba nti, you know, abakola olugambo bichi, you know, we must deal with them.
Nenga is not so wrong. Have you been on Facebook?
Yeah, there is such a thing as freedom of expression. Chapter 4, the Bill of Rights of our Constitution, provides for freedom of expression. You know, so people have every right to express themselves, criticize and so on. Of course, that does not mean that, you know, you should break the law. And again, there's mechanisms. The fortunate, bwogenda kumukutu, mutimbagano, abasoga baguyita mpulira mbu kabwidu-widu. Social media, that's what Msoga friend told me. But anyhow, that when you go there, no gamba Joel Ssenyonyi, Mubi, blah, 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 you know, he's the murderer and so on. I can sue you in my individual capacity for defamation so that you bring proof, all right? But that said, people should have freedom of expression. And for a leader, any serious leader must be open to criticism from the people they lead. Because you see, you are holding that position in the stead of those people. You are their servant. I know President Museveni doesn't think of himself as our servant, but whether he likes it or not, he's our servant. We pay him. He uses our tax money, all right? He occupies that position. Yes, you know, he is doing so in stewardship, okay? And so for me, I thought it was a wrong move. So we came together with a couple of friends and we said, no, we must resist this thing here. It's problematic. That tax is so wrong that even our MPs, our parliament is full of, it's a bunch of hypocrites in there. Those fellows passed that law saying, look, you know, government needs money and all these different things. It's a good law and so on. After passing it, the same charlatans did not want to pay it. They wanted us. We pay ours and then we pay for them too. I said, look at this bunch of hypocrites.
I remember ranting about that on Dependable News Africa. The day they came out and told us we are supposed to pay their OTT. So Joel, should we take it you're still in FDC? You're still a member of FDC?
But I told you that after that election, I said goodbye to them.
To FDC?
Yeah.
So officially you're out?
I left a long time ago. After that election, you know, I said, guys, thank you for having welcomed me. I said, so goodbye, let me go back to the media. And so I said goodbye to them, but we remained as friends. Even to date, I'm still good friends with many of those people.
All right then, Joel Ssenyonyi, I want to get this from you. It has been bugging me for a long time. What is people power? What is going to go in history as? A political party, a pressure group, a religion? What is people power?
People power is a movement. It's not a political party. It's a movement. You can call it pressure group if you want, but it's a movement that embraces, that brings together all Ugandans. Ugandans who are interested in change, who are interested in a smooth transition of power from President Museveni to another leadership, and then use that power to fix our country, to put power where it belongs. Today, our people don't have power. They cannot hold leaders accountable. Leaders do whatever it is that they want to do, and you're not going to do anything, you know. Institutions are broken down. Instead of big institutions, we have a big personality, and we're saying we must fix that. We want to empower institutions. We want to build them such that they're strong enough and they can operate effectively, yeah? And we're saying every Ugandan that wants to see that wants to see a country that works for all Ugandans, whether you are from the ghetto or from Kololo, whether you're educated or not, tall, short, big, small, whatever tribe, you know, that a Uganda that works for every Ugandan, that every Ugandan that is interested in that, we provide a platform for you, regardless of where you belong, whether you belong to the NRM, FDC, DP, JEMA, ANT, and you saw even the coordinators that we unveiled the other day. They come from across, you know, and that's what we are saying. So it's not a political party, it's a movement that is all embracing. Who does it embrace? Every Ugandan that wants to see that Uganda that I just talked about.
Oyogedde ku issue y'aba regional coordinators. You appointed, is it appointing, selecting, or choosing, whatever it is, you appointed regional coordinators. My biggest question is, which criteria did you follow? How do you know, is there a system kwe mumanyira nti kati ono wa people power, ono si wa people power? Which criteria and what qualities specifically were you guys looking for?
People power eranga bwe kugambye mugendo kisinde. It's not a political party, so kisinde ekireeta buli munnauganda ayagala enkyukakyuka eyo. And so we got to a point where we thought, let's be organized. You see, it's erroneous for people to think that you can only organize when you form a political party. You guys build structures, that means form a political party. And we said, no, we don't need to form a political party to be organized, to have structures all the way down. You can do that even without being a political party. And as you probably know, this country has so many political parties. But you know of, I don't know how many you know. I'm sure if you counted, you would not go beyond 10, maybe even beyond 5. Why? Many of them are inactive. All right. And we said we don't need to be a political party. Besides, you can be a political party and inactive and not organized. And so we thought, Solo Kubira organized, even as a movement. And so that's how we decided, let's form structures. For a very long time, there's been people across the country, go ulidanti ejindi ne kabong, baina structure yawe. Ono simanya ye coordinator wa people power ikabongo no ye mwogezi wa people power side you know like people bebirira mudanga tuze tubagamba but we thought let's have it organized across, yeah. And so that's how we zeroed down on the idea of forming structures, having coordinators across the country. How did we get to these coordinators? Wide consultations, but of course a number of them were already doing work on their own without having been appointed. They were already organized in their enclaves and their places, wherever it is they operate from, and they had a semblance of a structure. And so we looked out for people who, number one, were already operating and driving the message of people power, but also aside from those, there are others that we thought this one brings value, especially as we consulted, with people in a particular area. When you say, okay, in Busoga, because I don't come from Busoga, there are people who know it better than me. So we consulted with the people there, the leaders, and also the local ordinary folks. And they guided us on names and so on. And that's how we zero down on these names. I must say that there's so many people that have potential, who love people power, and who had wanted to become coordinators. Unfortunately, we could only have, not everyone, in all honesty, not everyone can be a leader. In the sense of occupying a position, but everybody can operate as a leader wherever it is that they are. So you find if it's leadership positions, or in this case coordinators, we can only have a few, but that does not mean before we are actually see before it's responsibilities as opposed to positions with perks and all these different things. It's responsibility, but we actually struggle because we would find that out of our consultations, we got so many names, that were given to us either by some leaders, ordinary people. So you find you're spoiled for choice. And we were spoiled for choice because potential was immense. But eventually we had to zero down on some. We could not pick everybody. So we picked those that we were able to with consultations and all of that. But that doesn't mean that those who were not selected to occupy these positions don't have potential. They do have potential. And we encourage them to keep mobilizing they were doing. If they were able to do it without titles, they should keep doing so.
So, this brought around a lot of backlash. So many people came out. Some, of course, welcomed the idea, while others were annoyed. There are some people I know. There is a lady, I don't know if you know her, Bamuyita Jennifer Fulfiga. She came out and said a lot of things. But what's your take on his comment when he called some of these guys political prostitutes?
It's actually, if I remember correctly, it was the leader of the FDC party. Patrick Amuriat Oboy, who said that. I found it to be a very unfortunate statement because and look, many times I don't like, this back and forth, leader says this, then I have to respond to them, then, I like to play a bit of mature politics. But I think it was a very unfortunate statement because when you say that, then are you saying you are that too because you're a member of the FDC, but you're also part of another entity which is called People's Government, which is not a political party. The same way People Power is not a political party. So the same way I think it's okay for members of FDC, CP, DP, Lord Mayor is DP, Betty Nambo, the Honorable is DP, but she's a part of People's Government, and these are good friends of ours, we engage. The same way it's okay for them to be a part of that entity. the same way it's okay for members of FDC, DP, NRM, and so on, be part of people power. I found that statement to be very unfortunate. But Dr. Kizza Besigye wrote a statement, if you saw it, and he congratulated us, which we thought was very mature, I think, to do.
So did Mugisha Muntu.
So did Mugisha Muntu, and we salute them, because this is not a political party. Yeah. So, for those, of course, that were disappointed, look, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. For a very long time, Ugandans have been telling us, guys, structure, get organized. So you do it, and expectedly some will not be happy for whatever reasons. They have their reasons. But we believe this was the right thing to do, and we'll keep moving.
So are these regional coordinators supposed to be the ones to get to the grassroots? Omanyi okutuuka kw'oli omuntu wa wansi ddala naye n'amutegeeza nti people power si kisinde ky'aba criminals, because so many times we've seen people do wrong things and under the umbrella of that. So bano ba regional coordinators, that is their responsibility.
By the ayogedde, the state has for a very long time been trying to brand us as violent, as all these, weird things, to try and discourage people from being a part of this awesome, mighty wave. And that's why, and that's why we have, for a very long time, and we continuously say, look, we are peace-loving people. We are law-abiding Ugandans. Honorable Kyagulanyi, our leader, has said it time and again that, look, if you want to abuse, insult, and commit crime, first put off our beret. Then you do whatever you want to do, not in our name, all right? Because we are not violent, we are not lawbreakers, we are law-abiding Ugandans who want to see a better country. And by the way, I must tell you that the state, in the quest to brand us as violent, as, all these many different things, they plant people. People who wear our berets, who, appear to be people power, they go out there and say all manner of ridiculous things, commit crime, and then everybody will say people power is violent and so on. We are aware of that, and that's why we keep disassociating ourselves with those people who do those things. Because we are saying we are non-violent, we are law-abiding, we are peaceful Ugandans who want to see a peaceful transfer of power. And it's surprising when I hear our president and other people who will say those ones, they are bandits, they are and so on. President Milton Obote called President Museveni and his group bandits. And by the way, he was right, because they operated as such. But they would, that's the thing, they were thieves. They raided Kabamba and stole guns. These guys would go to petrol stations, after they were taken by force, they would raid people's gardens and steal food, So I would like to think Obote was actually right in calling them bandits. Because they were, And for us, we are not that way. We don't even want to be branded that, because that's not who we are. And that's why we're saying we want power to change smoothly, peacefully. We don't want to kill people like they did.
But do you see that happening? Power changing smoothly, like we go to Kololo. Museveni had you got over power. You see that happening?
It must happen. And look, it's not up to President Museveni. This country is bigger than him, and he must calm down. He needs to relax and get it in his head that he is not some kind of emperor, an almighty leader of this country called Uganda. Previously, he has told people that I cannot hand over leadership to, cannot hand over this country to foxes, and that's what he calls opposition. And look, President Museveni, I know you'll get this clip. You need to calm down. You need to get off your high horse. You're not as... You should stop having this exaggerated sense of self-importance. And I'm saying this as a young man. I think I'm like at the age of Yomuzukulu. That's okay. But that doesn't mean because he's our leader, we have every right to tell him when we think he's going astray. All right? So, Mr. President, this whole idea you have that you're the almighty one and you're the one who decides, who leads and who doesn't, and you say you cannot hand. It's not up to you, sir. We are Ugandans. We have a stake in this, and we are saying this smooth transition has got to happen. For heaven's sake, this country has not seen a smooth transition. Every time there's a transition, it is bloodshed, and we are saying enough of this. All right. So it's not up to him. It's up to Ugandans, and that's what Ugandans are saying, and that's what Ugandans are going to make sure of.
So basically, #Funandagamuntu. Now, to cut this short, because your time bad, I have to wrap this up, like it or not. Now, what if, I'm just saying, if and when you win this election as people power? Because should we take it Bobi Wine is going to stand in 2021?
Yes, he's going.
Official.
We have said it again and again, and I am saying it again.
Thank you. Now, if or when you win, how are you going to put these systems in place? Because right now, everyone is associating with you. Every politician who wants to get somewhere is associating with people power. If you do not have a political system, I feel like it will be hard to put this in play.
And maybe that's the problem. Politics has messed things up. So when you say we don't have a political system, I don't know what you mean. We don't need a political system. We just need to know what has gone wrong and how to fix it. Look, we are not naive to imagine that everybody who, in a way, subscribes to people power means well. Some want positions. We are not naive to that fact. But you see, for me, the good in that is when people realize that, by the way, to get this position, I have to affiliate with people power. Otherwise, I am cooked. For me, that's a good realization because that shows you that people power has become a force to reckon with. While they were dismissing us, those ones, they are inconsequential. Now they realize they are a force to reckon with. For me, it's a good plus, all right? And then as they come, we need to, and we are continuously letting them know, guys, this is not just about taking positions. We obviously must fill those positions. One of our number one top things we want to do is to fill parliament, to have majority MPs in parliament. And then, of course, take over State House. Absolutely. All right. But after we have done that, you talk about how we get to do these things, fix systems. Like I said, power has been taken away from institutions. That one man determines everything, which is problematic. That when traders are on strike, they have to meet the president. He's the one who solves their problem. There's a time Honorable Media Chamba, the Minister of Trade, went to meet them when they were on strike. They said, no, we know who has power. It's the president. He's the one who want to meet. Another time, university students were on strike. And the first lady, can you imagine, first lady, who is the Minister of Education, went to try and, calm the tempers. They said, no, we know who has power. We want to meet the president. And we're saying, no, that is wrong. We want institutions to work. Which is wrong, which we want to change. We want institutions to work. We want an independent parliament. We want an independent judiciary. How do you make sure this gets to happen? Empower them. The judiciary, for example, the Chief Justice keeps saying, guys, we need more staff. We need more judges. That's why we have a backlog. Our country's cells across the country, prisons, have about 52,000 inmates. 26,000 of those have been on remand, some for over 10 years. Without trial. You are there for 10 years. You've not been before a judicial officer. Why? The backlog. There's not enough. So how do you empower that institutions? How do you build it? Avail more judges. Empower them to do their work. Because one of the other ways President Museveni has disempowered the judiciary, he has said things like, you judges, you only decide chicken thieves cases. You cannot take us back. So you're saying they are irrelevant. And we're saying, no, we've got to empower these institutions such that they get to work. These are things we are going to do when we take power.
So in case opposition parties decide on an alliance, we've seen this happening. In the last election, it happened. Now, in case they decide on an alliance, we've seen that DP bloc. People are trying to come together. Now, if they decide we want to bring a sole candidate to stand against President Museveni, and that sole candidate is not your candidate, would you people play part, or will you be like what happened with TDA?
Well, like we have said, as People Power, we have a candidate already. Every other political entity has the right to choose a candidate of their own. DP can choose their own, FDC, and so on. But Ugandans have for a very long time been saying, guys, unite, 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 unite. That's why when IPC failed in 2011, the hearts of many Ugandans were broken. When TDA failed in 2016, Ugandans were disappointed because they thought, finally, these guys can get together. Then it didn't happen, yeah? So we have been trying to answer that clarion call of Ugandans that let's unite. Muganda agamba agali awamu gegaluma ennyama. Bannayuganda baagala tusse kimu nga nkuyege. Especially omulamwa gwe batubanga tuliko fena nga tugamba gwe mulamwa gwe gumu, So we are in engagements with all these entities, continuously talking with them. How can we do this together? Because even though we have become a force to reckon with, nafe tumanyi nti we need others on board. All right, we need every Ugandan, including those in NRM. That's why you saw some of our coordinators are NRM card-holding members, NRM MPs. But they are saying we also want change. And we are saying, namwe muje. So we are bringing everybody together. Call them what you want. We like to think of them as Ugandans who are very sober. They are adults with a sound mind, all right? No one thinks for them. So for them, they're saying they want our country to get better, even though they belong to the NRM. So for us, this way, regardless of where you belong, as long as you see things as we do, that our country ought to get better, we must see a smooth transition of power, regardless of where you belong. Come, you're welcome.
Okay. That is a good answer. Although you didn't tell me whether you would join an alliance, but you're willing to work together.
Yeah, call it whatever name, alliance or I don't know what. Because we already, as you can see, we're already demonstrating that we are working with everybody. That's why even among our coordinators, there's NRM, there's FDC, there's DP, there's ANT, there's JEMA, there's everybody. Even the smaller parties, which you probably don't know about. Some of, them, we have some of our coordinators as among them. So we're already demonstrating that it's not about a political party, it's about Uganda. Yeah.
The way to go. Okay, now, thank you so much. Now, recently, tewanaita na banga denenyo, I think it was on Tuesday or something, AG, Attorney General yavaayo na defending electoral reforms zeyaleta. What's your take on those electoral reforms? Kuba muli mwaka waida akagamba a member of parliament must announce or denounce the party mwa belonging nga tanaba ku announcing jalimu 12 months before. Nebintu bingi nnyo ebisinga yatugambye byabadde bya bulimba. So what's your take on these recent electoral reforms?
I like to think of them as electoral jokes as opposed to electoral reforms. They were such a big joke because this is not what Ugandans have been, demanding for. When you read the Citizens Compact, Ugandans adumbrated Tichebagala as electoral reforms, but also they were nothing related to what the Supreme Court ordered. In 2016, when Babazi went to court, the Supreme Court issued guidelines, 10 of them, saying Attorney General work on this within 2 years. That time expired and some people went to court. The Supreme Court was saying deal with things like donations, giving out of donations by candidates, especially the president. Yes, when he's a candidate, he's still a president. But you see, President Museveni, how he bribes voters, he'll go around campaign time saying, look, I'm president, I'm fulfilling my mandate, promises that I made. So he'll go and dish out stuff, dish out money during campaign time. And we are saying that's bribery. That's what the Supreme Court said. And it was saying, Attorney General, work on this. These are critical things that we thought would come through these electoral reforms, as opposed to the jokes of saying, no cameras, no phones should be at a polling station. Are you out of your mind? Bagala okutuba, ate nga tebagala muntu yenna ategeere kuba kamera boga teri kubeera no kamera teri kubeerawo n'amasimu nakinaki mube bulungi ng'ensi tetegedde. Then ne bagamba nti we want only 5 people to be at the polling station as they announce, meaning they will chase away everybody, they bring their 5 people bakabbe bulungi.
Actually they said a minimum of 5.
No, they said only 5. That's what it was saying, meaning bagoba buli omu baleta abataano abaabwe bakabbe bulungi basebo mwatusanga tulaba. And that is why Ugandans exerted a lot of pressure and the Attorney General panicked very quickly. Navayo, na itulukungana nagamba, these things were not part of the reforms I submitted. Are you kidding us?
He showed us copies.
Of course, they had to change everything. Why? Pressure. And that's why you keep telling Ugandans, temusula step. They do keep exerting pressure. When you see something wrong, let's exert pressure. So that these guys, they will not... They're not going to give in willingly. No, we must put our kazito on them. And so we've got to keep doing that. And that's what happened recently. So eventually, now he comes out saying, they were not part. It's just like when they planted guns in Honorable Chagulanyi's hotel room in Arua. But by the Omanyi, they're actually not very smart. You want to tell lies, but you're not even very smart. So you plant guns and bichi. When Kazito was on them, then they withdrew the case.
Stuff happens, Joel. Emundu esobola okuvanishinga, emundu zavanishinga.
Of course, the same way bwezalabika is the same way they vanished.
Walabika jinjeri wenda biramu.
Ngali kubiddwa abantu bameka mpozi. Neba abantu bano balooza nti tuli baana bato tetutegeera. Basebo ne banyabo tutegeera President Museveni ne banno. So don't take us for granted. Don't take us for naive people. We understand. Extremely wide open and so teri kuzikiza.
Thank you so much. You've practically asked all my questions on people power. The rest I have are for your current boss right now. Well, you got that right from the horse's mouth. Omuganda agamba akuddira mu luyimba taluwoomya. Now that was Joel Ssenyonyi for you, the spokesperson of People Power. I thank you all guys so much for subscribing. Naddala mwe aba taking other time to watch our videos. Semanda, Ashraf, Nkulaba, we Dubai, and so many others of you guys. Until next time, please stay safe.